My name is J.C. Webb.
My name is Susan Metzai.
My name is Joy Lane.
My name is Christy Chubb.
My name is Paul Shippey.
My name is Morgan Sanders, and I'm a student at Faulkner Law.
First year of law school is pretty demanding. I tried to treat it more like a job.
I'd like to say it's like a job, but it's really not. It was kind of all-consuming for me.
Treat it like a job.
I was given advice to treat it like a 9-to-5 job, and I really, maybe this year I can do that in third year. So I think maybe those people were thinking of their second and third years, not so much their first year.
A typical week for me was classes in the morning, depending on the day, usually getting done a little after lunch, and then I would basically kind of camp out in the library until dinner time and take a break at dinner time, and then I would go home and work on either continuing doing the homework for the next day or work on any kind of project we had coming up. I prepared for exams by basically reading every day for class, taking notes on the stuff that I read for class for the next day, and then after every week or two, after we would finish a topic, I would outline that topic.
Preparing for exams is definitely the, critical time, considering that all of your grades are primarily based on your single final exams. So I tried to start about a month out and really make sure all of my notes were updated, make sure any holes that were in my notes, I had gone ahead and filled those in, and then just start learning the information.
Sometimes I think people get too caught up with preparing for class and miss the big picture, because you want to really focus on what is it that the professor wants you to learn out of the material, not every bit of detail is there.
The most useful piece of advice that I received in law school was to start early, meaning start all of your outlines early, go ahead and get your notes and start compiling them, and stay very organized so that towards the end, when you're just rushing around trying to get all the information that you need, that it's already in a format that you can follow.
Pay attention during your LRW classes, the legal research and writing classes. That class during your 1L year is so helpful because all you're going to do as an attorney is write.
It's really simple. It's kind of funny. The best piece of advice that I've had, though, is just do your best.
There's definitely a need to know how to balance things. Sometimes it's easier than others to balance your personal life with law school, but I think as long as you just keep in mind that this is school, and yes, this is your goal and what you're working towards, and pursuing a career choice, you also have to keep in mind that you have other aspects of your life that you need to attend to.
It was most important for me to make sure that I kept my faith number one, because that's where I got my strength from. With family and friends, I let them know that I was in this law school in the first year to go all the way, and that I had to help them understand that it is kind of all-consuming, but I did want to make sure I left time to talk to them, and to phone calls are wonderful things. I might not have been able to go out as much, but I definitely want to keep that connection open.
Being an older member of the student body, I am married. I have 2 kids that are both under the age of 5. So I want to make sure that I don't neglect them in my time in law school. I make sure to always put a time aside for them each week and daily. We try to, if at all possible, spend one day together as a family. We try to, when I pick up the kids at the end of the day, I always try to spend time with them until it's time for them to go down for the night, but when my studying begins again. And my wife and I always try to take time together to go and go out on dates, and to make sure that we keep our relationship strong during this time.
So treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
I needed to be prepared to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning.
To treat it like a 9-to-5 job.
Don't worry about supplements as long as you read and make your own outline.
Before I started law school, I was given the book 1L by Scott Turow, and it was, they said that I should read it before I started. I read it, and I was scared to death, but then when I got here, it wasn't anything like the book.
American Constitution Society.
I am on Law Review.
Student ambassador.
Over the last 2 years, I've been involved with the Board of Advocates.
I'm currently the vice president of the Christian Legal Society.
I am on the trial team.
Women's Legal Society.
The Jones Law Republicans.
JPILF, which is Jones Public Interest Law Foundation.
The Jones Public Interest Law Fellowship, with also known as JPILF.
JPILF, which is Jones Public Interest Law Foundation. Jones Public Interest Law Foundation. Okay, I'll say it again, a little more smooth. I'm also in JPILF, which is Jones Public Interest Law Foundation.
I have had 2 different internships while I've been at Faulkner Law. The first one, I started out as an extern with the Alabama Department of Education with their legal counsel, which was really great because they actually referenced me over to the Alabama Department of Transportation with their legal bureau. So I've currently been working there this past summer, and then throughout the school year. And it has been an excellent learning opportunity, and they're just really nice. That is one of the positive things about being here at Jones is the availability of internships and externships because it is a state capital here in Montgomery.
I actually interned for a federal magistrate judge in the Southern District of Alabama, and I worked for him over the summer after my 1L year, which was really great. I got to do some writing assignments for him, research. I worked with his clerks very closely, and I was able to watch a lot of stuff going on, not only in his courtroom, but in all of the other district courts, or the other district judges' chambers. I got to meet a lot of the judges and talk to them, so that was really nice to be able to observe everything that was going on and kind of see firsthand what it is you've been learning all year.
We get all excited about having fun because we're together all the time.
Just because, when you leave college, you don't think that you'll ever have better friends than you had in college. And when you get to law school, I've met great friends that I've become really close to.
Surprised me to be able to see that, yes, it is a very academic environment and it's a professional environment, but at the same time, your professors are human beings, and they're there to teach you, and they're there to help guide you and be your mentors.
I had this idea in mind that when I went to law school, I was going to be surrounded by very much like-minded people. And so the diversity of ideas and ways of approaching problems, issues, was really surprising.
At first I thought it was going to be totally competitive and everybody was going to be really cutthroat, but the camaraderie really surprised me.
Get plenty of rest to be ready for final exams. I know that that's going to sound totally opposite from what everybody tells you about law school, but you have to treat not only the first year of law school, but also your entire law school career as a marathon. So if you get burned out the first half of the semester, you're not going to be ready for finals at the end.
In order to prepare for finals, you should begin all throughout the semester. And one of the best ways to do that is to read your supplements. Supplements are those lovely little books that help explain exactly what the law is without all those muddled questions that you'll find in your case books. It's very helpful, and it'll help you make sure you have a good outline. So doing that, as well as making note cards, so you're not scrambling to make note cards at the end to memorize all of these little bits of law. I would say keep up on your supplements as well as your reading, obviously, and make note cards.
Yes, I'll tell one story on myself. The second week of law school, I was called on to brief a case, and you'll be 2 weeks into law school and still realizing you have nowhere earthly idea of what's going on, and you'll read everything, think you understand it, go to class, and to only realize that you don't understand it. The first case I was called on to brief 2 weeks in, I stood up in class and the professor began asking questions, and about 4 questions in, I had not answered a single one correctly. And I asked the professor, hey, did I read the right case? Am I on the right information? He said, yes, absolutely. You may have read it, but obviously you didn't understand it. It was embarrassing, but it was also just a kind of a reality check of you're not going to understand everything the first 2 weeks, maybe even the first 2 months. The whole point is if you get it by the end, you're totally fine.
Don't mean to scare people with this, but did so much reading those first couple of weeks that even when I went to sleep, I would dream about reading still in my sleep. So it was a very unnerving first couple of weeks, but you know, the storm cleared. You know, things began to make more sense after that. Things just kind of began to fall in place, and it did get easier.
Best memories from 1L year was the very end of the year. It's the last couple of days of class, and my criminal law professor walks into the room, and we're anticipating a day of lecture or the Socratic method, and he all of a sudden passes out these song lyrics to a few different Christmas carols, and he gets us all up, and we walk around campus down into the law library, and we Christmas carol different songs like Good King Wenceslas and different songs like that. And it was just really fun to hear the classmates you sit around next to every day studying and hanging out with at lunch just start belting out Christmas carols. Some of them sing much better than others, and so that was really fun.